Life? Well, definitely no bed of roses. And today this video is gonna be about those struggles that I've faced while living in Singapore. And of course, how I overcome them. Let's dive right into it. First of all, I gradually developed a fear of crowds. So if you're like me, someone who dislikes crowds to begin with, living in Singapore could be a little bit of a struggle. The population density of Singapore is 8,358 per square kilometer. That's crazy! So yes, anytime when you're outside, whether it's at the mall or the public transport or just walking on the street, it's common to see a huge crowd, especially during the peak hours. You think you can get used to them after a while, and I suppose some of them do, but personally for me, I'm still struggling with it. So the thing that I do is to avoid peak hour. It works well for me. I don't know about you, you can try it out. Having to live apart from a family member, this is a hard one. I mean, it doesn't haunt you like all the time, but at some point when homesickness sinks in, it kind of hurts. As much as I love my life here in Singapore, it's never easy to be living apart from your loved ones. Especially during a pandemic like this, when you don't know what is going to happen next, feelings like worries, anxiety intensifies when you're not physically with your family. There's just a hole in here that no amount of FaceTime can fix. Well, I'm sorry for the sudden gloom, but you know what? I've actually made a video on how to deal with homesickness when you're living away from home. So check it out if you're interested, and hopefully that can be a mood lifter for you. Now, speaking of mood lifter, a like from you for this video, it's gonna be a good one for me. Thank you. So having to move around. It is a struggle, but also a nuisance. Moving house is really a huge and tiring project. There's a lot of logistics, a lot of paperwork, the packing and unpacking. Well, absolutely dreadful. And let's just say that I haven't gotten a lot of luck when it comes to renting flats. Because I've moved 6 times in my 7 years of living in Singapore. For all sorts of reasons, sometimes it's circumstantial, sometimes it's just pure bad luck. Another time, I suppose I've learned co-living etiquette the hard way. It is always a delicate matter when it comes to handling interpersonal relationship. And for this instance, I'm talking about relationship with housemates. I suppose sharing living space with a complete stranger is something that doesn't come natural to anybody. But on retrospect, experiences as such definitely has broadened my views. It also helped me to learn how to respect other people's opinions while protecting my own. And it gave me a chance to reflect and work on bad habits that I may have. So yes, while this is a struggle, I'm still quite glad that something good turned out of it. The moving house is still a nuisance. Nothing good about that. Absolutely nothing. Now, I have mentioned this objectively before that working in Singapore is very stressful. And yes, I'm also struggling with that, and I would say that is one of my biggest struggles that I have. But to be fair, it could also be because I'm too green. Like being a student and then I'm juggling with the transition of becoming a working adult. It could be that. But the long working hours and high demand of work expectations certainly doesn't help the situation. Though it is what it is, rat race or not, we still have to work. We can't just stay at home and do nothing. Also, stress isn't necessarily a bad thing. It can be a motivator sometimes to help you push further and further of your limit until you become better at whatever you're doing. But I say we should learn how to recognize when the stress level is overwhelming. So when the stressor tilts from a motivator to something that's dragging you down, that's the warning sign. That is when you should back out. Give yourself a break, reject tasks or people if you have to, and of course, if you find it too overwhelming, reach out for help. And to be honest, I say I'm still learning how to manage work-related stress even until today. But the good thing is, I'm definitely at a better state than I was. So, you know what they say, small victories are commendable. Now, work may be stressful, but it is what gives you financial independence. And with that comes with the problem of excessive spending, at least for me. I'm not proud of this, but I have to admit, I've spent money on most worthless stuff for the most stupidest reason ever. So you see, the problem with being a young adult living alone in a city like Singapore is that there's way too many temptation of spending. There are great malls here which is super accessible and they have all kinds of goods in it, and I haven't even talked about how convenient online shopping is. And after that, you have good food everywhere, literally everywhere. On top of that, There's also all sorts of entertainment establishment out there, which of course cost you a little bit of money. So you see, living alone, I always want to hang out with my friends, and the moment you get out of the house, you start burning money. I definitely struggled with spending wisely, which has gotten me into a lot of trouble, so yeah. Thankfully, we are creatures that learn from experience. So I have some takeaway from those experiences that I had. Basically, every single month, set aside an amount for indulgence. I mean, if you have to. And also remember, you only do that after you paid all your essential bills and also after you have set an amount for saving. If you ask me how to resist temptation of spending, honestly speaking, I need help myself. So be kind and leave some tips in the comments to help me or those people who also have the same struggle as I. Alright, I suppose that's all for today, and if you like content like this, be sure to hit the subscribe button. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye!